And we are live once more, and this time we're gonna be going through, I think, the CSS Box Model by building a Rothko painting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly share my screen and share this one. And there we are. So now we need to, just go through it and learn off it. I know last time we were doing the, I didn't get to do the HTML as I wanted to over the weekend, but it's fine. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
So let's see. Let's do doc type, then HTML. Wait, hold on, I missed HTML.
Good.
Doc type HTML. The language settings. English.
That's good the way it is. Next element.
Yeah. So we've done it. So now we do what? HTML.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we do this equals lang.
Yes.
Equals. Remembering these things.
You're doing good.
Then that's like trying to do that. And I will try.
It's a good habit to get into. Just close it right away, then come back and do stuff. Yeah.
Doc type. That's like. Is that subscription? No,
that's by itself. It's just by itself. Yeah.
That's it. And body elements. So we will do.
However, your HTML is the outside, and everything else is on the inside of HTML. So you want to go in the middle, in between the opening and closing tags. There, hit enter. Hit enter. Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to put your stuff in there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think this is all right. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one. So, within the head element, add a meta tag which sets the char set to UTF-8 and the title element with the value Rothko painted. So, add a meta.
That's you want actually a tag inside the head tag.
That's
an attribute. That's an attribute that you're adding. Yes, you want a tag.
Need to remember the difference between the tags and the attributes.
Yes, that's all it is. So if I were you, I would actually come down after you hit enter, and then kind of get in the habit of that too, where you have the children of things indented inside the parents. It's readable that way because you can see immediately. And I'd actually put your different tags on different lines. Meta is self-closing.
Right, yes. So what do you mean tags on the different lines?
Like hit enter now, here. And so are we supposed to have two meta tags? What's this? Oh, another tag in the head element is, what's the next one that goes in the head element?
Yeah, sorry, I was just focused on this. We need a title element with the value of Rothko painted. So we need a title element. And then we need the value of right. So within the body element, add an image source equals this. And then class name.
Yep, there's one distinction I would make. Image is self-closing. So image is so you don't really, you can just put that slash on the end there inside. The other thing I would say is that there's the rule that we just talked about. It's not really a rule, it's a guideline. It helps for readability. How you have Rothko painting there in the title. So do that and that put the children inside the parent and indented like that, except for when there are some exceptions, like for this case, this is not a tag that you're putting in there. It's just text. When you have just text like that, keep it on the same line.
Okay.
So yeah, right.
Should I keep the title like this, or should I close it at this
Go ahead and put it up at the end of Rothko painting. Yeah, I know it sounds like I just said the opposite, but the difference is indent your tags like that. But when it's just text, go ahead and keep it on the same line. Things like spans, you'll do that, and maybe a couple other things.
Cool.
Okay.
Right, let's go through it. Yep, we have passed the code. Right, in the CSS box model, every HTML element is treated as a box with 4 areas. Imagine you receive a box from your favorite online retailer. The content is the item in the box, or in our case, a header, paragraph, or image element. Change the source attribute in image from this to this. Okay, so just asking you to. It seems to be the same thing, so I'm just going to change this to. Okay, we go ahead. What's my later? The content is surrounded by a space called padding, similar to how Pablo's wrap separates an item from the box around it. Think of the border like the cardboard box your item was shipped in. Change the source attribute to this. Isn't this the same thing? Like,
yes,
they basically just
they're kind of just showing you what the object here is to look at the images, because the images are teaching you something. They're like demonstrating what they're telling you here. So you have to look at, because that's actually the box model and where things are. So you see padding is there, and where's the margin? Where's a border on the box model?
Right.
How does that work? Yeah, where's the actual content?
Margin, border, padding, content.
That's the content, the height and the width of the content, etc. Yeah.
So padding fills it's, I guess it's telling you to it's box on box, and then understanding that. Cool.
And Andrei, I'm having some technical difficulty. I don't know if my screen is blacking, but it is over here on this side for some reason. So hopefully my camera's still working through everything.
Everything's
good? Okay, cool.
My end, I think. But
all right, good. Keep rolling.
Margin is the area outside of the box and can be used to control the space between other boxes or elements. Here, the bottom element has a large top margin, pushing it further down the page. Now that you understand the CSS box model, let's get started on the Rothko painting. So it's asking me to remove the image element. Okay. So I see nothing. Okay, so add a div element in the body. Set the class attribute to equal to canvas. For example, div class equals my div. So div has a closing. Cool. Let's see. Before you can start styling a div you added, you need to link your CSS to HTML. Add a link element to link your styles CSS file. Set the href to styles element to set the row attribute to style sheet. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm in my head element, so I need to add a link. No.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, that didn't get stars. Run href equals files.css. Do I need to do that?
Yeah.
And then link is self-class too, right?
It is, but you need one more attribute in there.
Rel equals style sheet. Cool. So I've linked it now. Right. So even though your div has no text, it's still treated as a box with content. Write a CSS rule that uses the .canvas class selector and set its width to 500 pixels. Here's a CSS rule that sets the width of the class card to 300 pixels. So we need to do canvas and then width the great thing is it's just repetition, right? So as many times as I repeat it, it's gonna be a lot better for me. So
yes.
Yeah. Oops. I don't know what happened there, but we'll roll with it.
Okay.
So 600. So yeah, and it let me off the hook for that one, but for the semicolon at the end.
Yeah.
I'll keep reminding myself. The word will be hash. Cool. So we've done background color. Error painting needs a frame. Right. The dot canvas element in another div. Right. Oh.
Yeah, you want to basically wrap what you have in a div. So you want to put one at the top and the closing at the bottom. Opening, yeah. Yep. It looks like you need to get yeah.
Let me guess. Full stop frame. Border. Top right, bottom middle.
Yes, top right, like clockwise, top right, bottom left. Or you sort the shorthand. So are they saying they want different values for each one of those, or they just want the same value on all of them, or what are they saying here?
They're saying width of 50 pixels. So,
same on all of them. Okay. So what can you do?
Is that same on all of them? Because if they said height and width for 50 pixels, sure. But if it's just
okay, shorthand, frame element, solid black border with a width of its. Oh, they want border. Oh, border. This isn't the border. So border is different. Sorry. Border, actually, the different things that you're going to tell border are, is it solid or dashed? What color, what color is the border, and how wide. So basically just write what they have, what they have there is what you need. Yep, solid black. And then how many pixels? Yep, that's the border. There you go.
Yeah, it's confusing that they say width. I don't like width because, technically this is, I would have said margin, not width over here.
Remember the box model this whole lesson is on box model. So the border has a place as well. And the border itself can be as as wide or narrow as you want.
No, I meant like a margin of a border, if that makes sense. Right. Okay. So let's go to the next one. So let's see. The frame is much too wide. Indoor set its width to 500 pixels. Okay. So now we're gonna do set width to. Okay. So if it's in frame, so and then.
That's interesting where you're typing, which it lets you apparently. I guess it checks it up there. I'd be interested to see if it's. It does. Cool.
What do you mean? You
do you see line 10? No, line 10.
Okay.
You see line 10 down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally that's where you would write, but evidently it lets you go ahead and edit.
Yeah, because I think as we saw by the rules, it's like test-driven development, right? So it has a bunch of rules, but I don't think it checks for where you've written it, because at the end of the day, spaces, enters are ignored, right? So in this way, this is they're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So use a padding to adjust the spacing within an element. So in frame, use the padding shorthand property to increase the space by 50 pixels. The shorthand will increase the space in the top bottom, so basically everything. So if I just write that should do it.
Yeah.
Cool. So use margins to adjust the spacing outside of an element. Use the margin property and give the dot frame element vertical margin of 20 pixels and horizontal margin of auto. This will move the frame down to 20 pixels and horizontally center on the page. So if we do margin and we do give this a vertical margin of 20 pixels and horizontal. So if I did 20 pixel and I did auto,
Yep.
Because the next one's right? So as long as I hit that, then that should be fine. I mean, it works like top, right, bottom, left. But if I set this for top, this kind of sets it for bottom.
Yeah, the first one is top and bottom. The second value is left and right. So that's vertical and then horizontal for that one.
Okay, add a new div element inside of your canvas element. So okay, div, and then give the new div the class attribute of 1. So write a new rule that targets the dot 1 and set its width to 425 pixels. So again, we'll do that. Set the width to be this. Yeah, pitch soft. Now set the height for dot 1 to 150 pixels. So. Okay. Set the background color to be cool. So use margins to position the dot 1 element on a canvas. Add the shorthand margin property with a vertical margin of 20 pixels and horizontal of auto. Okay, so margin 20 pixels. Cool. Getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Now .1 is centered horizontally by submargin is pushing past the canvas and onto the frame's border, shifting the entire canvas down 20 pixels. Add padding of 1 pixel to the canvas element to give the .1 element something solid to push off of. So now .1. Awesome. So let's see. So the next one would be adding 1 pixel of padding to the top, bottom, left, and right of the canvas. Changes dimensions to 502 pixels by 602 pixels. Replace the padding property with overflow set to hidden, changing the canvas back to its original dimensions. So we need to replace the padding property with overflow. And then hidden. What's that do? Oh, okay, cool. So it basically allows the colors to actually kind of like almost, how can I say it? It allows for this to be a square and this to be a square, right? So.
Yeah, anything else is kind of hidden. Anything that's overflowing, that is not shown.
Mm-hmm. Add another div with class of 2. Now your 1 element. Done. So create a new .2. Wait to be 475. And onto the next one. Height to be 200 pixel. Zoom and pass now. Background cover. I think it's getting us to try and understand how to position things, right? I think that's the intention.
Yeah, to get practice with box models, things that are boxes, margins, and paddings, and borders, and etc.
Okay, cool. So that's margins auto, which is great. So now I need to create a new div class. Good. You don't always have to use pixels when sizing an element. Create a new role, .3, and set. So. But so here's a question. You know how they say like, oh, they give you the 91%. Is this mostly a trial and error type of thing when you actually code it for real?
Yes, for the most part. If you have to come up with something that looks good, you're just going to trial and error until you get it the way you want it to look. The thing about percents versus pixels, of course, is, is that your percentages, if it's responsive, it's going to always be the 91% of the the container.
Oh.
Versus if you put a pixel on there, no matter how big or small you make it, it's going to try to stay that same size of pixels, so it's not going to be as responsive.
So is percentage a better way to do things then, or?
It depends. Usually, if you want it to be responsive, percentage is the way to go.
Okay. That's so basically we're just carrying on. We've done this a million times now, so not a million, but a few times. Center the free element on. So we're gonna put margin, and we're gonna put auto again. So this should center it for us over here. because we're working on a free. And now it's helpful to have your margins push in one direction. In this case, the bottom margin of the .1 element pushes .2 down 20 pixels. In the .2 selector, use margin shorthand property to set top margin to be 0 and horizontal margin to auto and bottom margin to 20 pixel. This will remove its top margin, horizontally center it, and set its bottom margin to 20 pixel. Right, because we had auto, so therefore it picked automatically. But because we only want, I guess, from this case, we're looking at we're happy with these, so therefore auto should be applied. But we're not happy with the top. Are they talking about this one? Are they trying to get them combined together? They want to get rid of this brown line, right?
The thing that they're saying here is that you have these 3 boxes. If you gave every box a top margin of 10 and a bottom margin of 10, like auto is going to do the same all the way around, but let's say it has 10 for, it equates to 10. Then your bottom margin of that top box here is going to have 10, and your top margin of that second box is going to have 10, and there's going to be 20. So you're going to have a top margin on the very, very top is 10. You're going to have 20 in between, and the bottom's going to have 10. So what they're saying is in order to even it out, only go with either everything has a top margin or everything has a bottom margin. And that way it's going to be consistent and uniform throughout. So what they're saying in that top line is it's helpful to have your margins push in one direction, meaning you're going to push down or you're going to push up or it's so forth. So since the top margin has a bottom margin already on it, we're going to set this second box .2 to have a 0 top margin. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing, Corey? How's it going? Thanks for joining us. Let's see. So where are we going? So in the next one, we're going to be pushing. We got init.2 selector. So we're happy with that, I think. So let's just check the code and carry on going forward. And then we will go into the colors and shapes of your painting are too sharp to pass as a Rothko. Use a filter property to blur the painting by 2 pixels in a .canvas element. Here's an example of a rule that adds a 3 pixel blur. So what we need to do is we need to check. So it's saying it's too sharp, so it needs to get that shortened out, right? So we're gonna put. So they're saying that we need to in a .canvas element. So wait a minute, I'm just gonna restart this up because I keep pressing like backspace too fast, and that seems to affect all this other text. So right. So essentially, what they need to do is in the canvas element. So I am currently in the canvas element. So therefore, I just need to set a filter, and then I need to set a blur, and then they ask me to write a 2 pixel. Yes.
Yep.
Oh wait, you should use filter property to blur 2. Oh, I misspelled filter. That's
filter.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. So create a rule that targets both .1 and .2 and increases the blur effect by 1 pixel. So let's see. We need to just create a rule that so
blur is additive. So when they say increase it by 1 pixel, whatever you put in here is going to add to the existing blur on the canvas.
Okay. Let's see. So we need to do filter, blur, and then they're saying 1 pixel. Right. And then we'll push that. Awesome. No, that's not it. We do have that. Is that the comma? Is it?
It is a comma, but you need a dot.
.2. That's it. Increases the blur of .3 by 2 pixels. So I'm in .3. I need to set another filter. Yeah. And then we will push blur, and then we'll push 2 pixels. That should be awesome. Kind of flying away with this one. The rectangles are too small and the edges. Yeah, I was too focused on the code. I just looked right and it's got this whole blur effect. I'm like, whoa, it's totally changed now. I guess, yeah, just code to see what you're doing and stuff like that. So the rectangles are, so increase the area and soften the edges of .1 by setting its box shadow to 0, 0, 3 pixel, 3 pixel, and the color. So it's saying we're in box 1, sorry, we're in class 1. So box shadow, and there'll be 0, 0, 3 pixel, 3 pixel, and the code will be 𝐸𝐵762. And we will check that, and we are happy with that. Use the same box shadow declaration for .2, but change the color from that to that. So, by the way, how do you speak this? Do you ever, like, does anybody ever say to you, like, oh yeah, we need to change it from this hex color to this hex color? Is that basically the speak when you may speak with somebody else about it?
That's a good question. Well, it depends. When you're developing, if you're handed a mock or something, a lot of times it'll come with the actual specs for the colors, and you'll use whatever they're giving you, the RGB or the hex or whatever they're giving you. But if you're designing something for yourself or it's your project, then you'll use whatever you want. But when you're telling somebody, like speaking it verbally, I don't think there's a standard way of doing it. You can say hex color or #8F0401 or whatever. You can speak it however you want. When you're working on a team, you'll get some kind of standard way of doing it. Just makes it easier. For us, you can do it however you want. Hex something is fine.
Well, what have you seen? What's the most common for yourself?
I usually just say hash something or other.
Okay.
Or I'll say, here, I'm going to Slack this to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Slack it, yeah. Less chance of an error that way when you can send it.
I mean, I suppose if you know the color version, you kind of can say, oh, we need to change it to brown or whatever it is to because you probably have seen the hashtag before and you go, oh, we need to change it to brown. I'll send you the hex code or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So the corners of each rectangle are still too sharp. Round each corner of the .1 element by 9 pixels. Use the border radius property. So let's see. We are gonna push border radius. And then they went 9 pixels, so I'll finish up. Right, awesome. So use the border radius property on a .2 selector to set its top and left and bottom right radii to 8 pixels and top right to bottom left radii to 10 pixels. See if I remember this one. We've done it like once, so I'm gonna guess. So it's like diagonal. So if it's like this. So I guess it's like a clock. So it could start at. Well, the way they say it, and the top. So to set its top. No, hold on. I will figure this out. Give me 1 second. No, I will figure this out. So. It could be that.
It could be.
It could be, or it could be not. So let's see, top left and bottom right. So if you have top left and bottom right, it should go top or top right, bottom. So it could be, it's either this variation or 10 pixel, 8 pixel variation. So let's have a look to see if this is right. Yes, haha, I figured it out. So basically, so top, it starts at top left, then top right, then bottom right, then bottom left, right?
Yes, correct. That's correct. Okay. Good job. And you could also shorthand that to just be 8 pixels, 10 pixels.
Yeah, I could have. I just was like confused about the whole like where it stood and trying to figure things out.
This is absolutely correct, though. Yeah, and I want to go back to when we're talking about colors and how do you tell your teammates or whoever you're working with colors and things. That later on in the free code camp stuff, we're going to be doing covering SAS, which stands for syntactically awesome style sheets. What that does is it allows you to put your colors in one place and then access them like variables. That's ultimately the best place, because then you're changing it in the one place and you're not having to, change it everywhere else. You're having to use that one color that is for the theme of your product or whatever you're working on. So we're going to cover that later.
Awesome. So it's almost like styles. It's kind of like the top level of like styles of CSS. So you use styles of CSS, but instead of using it like maybe a color here, you have a reference point, right? It's just like your index.html communicates with your, to form a class. It kind of forms the same for color, right?
If go back to your let's see your styles, and you see over here where we're using background color and we're using that color, and box shadow, we're using the same color. Instead of that, what we would do is we'd have a variable that references that color, and then we'll just reference the one variable in both those places. And then if we want to change it to like a more reddish color, we just have to change it in the SAS variable, and it'll update these automatically. And that's the beauty of that. So we'll learn about that later.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go now onto the, I believe, next one. How do I go to the next one? Okay, control enter is your friend. Okay, so the border radius property accepts up to 4 values. Round the top left corner of the 3 by 30 pixels. Top left, fine. Top right, 25 pixels. They give me the order here. Boring. 12 pixels. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, or did I screw
border radius?
Oh, wait, I have a PXS for some reason.
It's usually a spelling error.
Yes. So rotate each rectangle to give them more of an imperfect hand-painted look. So let's have a look. So these are rectangles. Use the transform property on a .1 class selector to rotate. Oh my gosh, is this 0.6? Oh. This doesn't sound right. Hold on.
And then you'll need your units in there.
Oh. Yeah, it tells me here. Big.
Oh, yep.
Oh, right. It says minus because
counterclockwise.
Right.
That was tricky.
Cool. So that's done. So rotate the 2 elements clockwise by 0.4. So I need to do transform. I need to do rotate. But the great thing I'm going to say though is like I'm starting to pick up the syntax. So when we did transform, right, and rotate, I didn't remember that. But what I noticed by the colors was that the color was blue. So straight away I thought, well, I can't really place a number afterwards. So I knew straight away almost to use the brackets, because I need to specify it. Yeah. So that's the one thing which is just through practice, it just comes to you automatically. It's not, you see it, but the more you type, the more you kind of know about it. So
yeah, you're doing good. We're almost done with this too.
Yeah, I mean, we might just knock out the next one as well at the same time if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see, where are we going? So rotate .3 counterclockwise by 0.2 degrees. With this final step, your Rothko painting is now complete. So we need to, again, transform and rotate, and then minus 0.2 deg. Oh, damn it. There you go.
All right, this is the next one.
Cool. I think what we'll do is we'll just do this, and then I'll change out our titles to say that this is also this.
Yeah.
So this is quite a short one as well. So, and then the next one we will carry on in the next session.
That sounds great.
Okay. Cat pictures, love it.
Yeah. Do you have cats?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one that looks just like. Actually, I've got two which basically are like this. Yeah. So like one's a Maine Coon, one's a American Wirehair. So
nice.
Well, how about you?
I used to have 2 cats. I had 3 dogs, and then 2 of my doggies passed away. Now I only have 1 dog.
Yeah.
But I like pets, animals. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we had dogs back in Ukraine, but we haven't. We didn't have dogs here in England, but we mainly had cats. Had loads of cats actually. But with my family, we had about 6 or 7 different cats, and
Wow.
And with this one, with my wife, she brought her cat, and we got another one as well. So when we moved into this new house, so. Yeah.
When you get used to them, you gotta have them around. They just make life so much more fun and interesting.
I think they really make it like they can be such I don't know, just comfort. Like they have this sense that they give around you. So just it's so great. So we need a HTML element. And let's just close off the HTML quickly. So inside my HTML element, I will need lang equals n, and then we need to set. By the way, what happens if I set the language to be something else? Does it mean is it gonna still come up as French?
I think it will render as the different language. I mean, you can leave it. I don't know what the different codes are, but you could try it, and then for the title, see what it renders as. That would be interesting.
I can't speak French, but let's give it a go.
Is it FR? Okay.
Yeah, well, it should be FR. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about.
Well, this will be interesting.
See element, and let's close off the.
Oh, it may not pass. It may.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's not gonna pass.
It might render it though, and then you can change it to pass.
So, yeah, I mean it will. Well, let's have a look actually.
Go and put some. You can put some text in the body. Yeah. Oh, it says hi. Hi there. No, it's just English.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's like an automatic conversion. I think you have to write in the actual French language on your keyboard so it recognizes that.
Yeah, let me look into that. What exactly that does give us when we set lang.
Right. Okay, I'll just go into the next one. So within your head element, add a meta tag with the name set to viewport and a content set to width equals device equals width. Initial scale equals 1. also add a meta tag with the charset set to UTF-8. So we need to set a meta tag. Report.
It might be just for like web crawlers or for accessibility something or others engines, because it doesn't look like it does anything automatically.
Could be just a search engine, just like, for example, doc-type HTML, and when you have your title, right? So the title doesn't really do anything, but it's being used by the search engine. So it's probably the same thing, just like, it matches like a certain language type, and then, if you're on, I don't know, google.fr, then it will bring up the French, the websites are encoded with the French language rather than the ones who encoded with the English language.
Yeah,
that sounds
search engine optimization. Yes.
So where are we going? Sorry, we kind of got distracted. Right.
Sorry.
So tag with the name set to viewport. So name equals viewport. Then we got content set to width equals device. Width equals device width, and initial dash scale equals 1. What does this mean? Width device and the initial scale equals 1.
Yeah, what that does. So you're setting the viewport. So basically, that's if you're on a cell phone or or you're on a tablet or whatever. The initial scale of that is equal to 1, meaning that if so for responsive websites, it goes against according to the scale of things, so it knows it's going to set that initial to 1. So this is for responsive websites. You'll need to have this on there whenever you're doing a responsive website.
Okay. So in this case, does it want me to have 2 meta tags? I'm not sure. Yes. That allowed?
Two meta tags. The first one is named viewport, and then this one is for your car set. And then, there are other meta tags that you can add as well. So you could have more than the 2. There are other ones like for search engine optimization and things like that, where you can put keywords.
So you wouldn't combine it all in one go, would you?
No.
Okay.
At least I haven't seen that. I don't think you do.
But can you?
I don't know. I can check that too. I've not seen that.
Sorry, I'm asking you a lot of different questions.
I'm glad you are.
So within your head element, add a title element with the text set to photo gallery. Add a link element to add your styles.css file to the page. So let's see, within your header, add a title.
It's not allowed to combine them. You have to have separate ones.
Okay.
That explains why I've never seen it done.
Yes. But at least you know now.
Now I know for sure. It's like when you learn the definition of a language just because you've heard people talk about that. So you kind of surmise the definition from that, but you've never actually looked it up. That's exactly what that was.
Cool. So that's done. I've added a link to a new styles.css, and I've also added a title element. Right, so now, that's kind of bad. I did this, but I didn't do rel style sheet.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention.
But it let me through.
It did.
Let me through.
It likes you.
Yes, but I know when I do, like, I'm like, oh, that's just. But I think that's. I don't think. How can I say it? It's not the problem whether you get it right or wrong. It's a problem of understanding why you got something right or why you got something wrong.
Correct.
And that is the biggest thing as you're learning, because I often do this with my Azure Microsoft exams. When I take the exams and, like, for example, practice questions, I look back at the question and I will think to myself, well, why did I get this right or why did I get it wrong? I evaluate and I figured out the explanation. Once you figure out this explanation, it becomes a lot easier to yourself rather than a simple, like, think of a mathematical equation, right? So you know 2 + 2 = 4, right? So 2 + 2 = 4. But the theory behind it is, I know that if you add this number, and if you have this number and this number, and you have a plus between them, then that will equal the number. And that's the explanation that we're talking about.
Yeah, you're right. That's very important. Depth of understanding. So you can take a similar question, apply it, and still get the correct answer.
Mm-hmm. So add a header element within the body element and assign a class of header to it. Okay, so it means a header within the body element. Header. What is the header? Because you've got the head, but what does the header mean? Is it the head of the body text? Is that what it means?
Well, header is one of those elements that is with your HTML5. So it's semantic, what means that it's not just a tag name, but it actually means something about the particular thing it's defining. So you have also footer elements. This is an HTML5. They came in that added these different semantic tags. Before, there were just things like body, div. What's a div? In reality, nothing. It's a division of what is it though. But with the header, well, we have an understanding of what header is. A header is something that goes at the top of the document, and it kind of defines what's going to happen in the document. So that's why you have something like a header as opposed to H1, which was not an HTML5. It was one of those before that was just basically had to do with the size of the text in it. And it was at the head of a section. So.
Yeah. I screwed up somewhere. Yes, I see why I screwed up. Let's see this. Perfect. Cool. Let's go on to the next one. So below your .header element, create a new div element and assign it a class of gallery. This div will act as a container for the gallery images. Inside that gallery element, create line image element. So where are we going? Inside the .gallery element. Now you have to create a new div element and assign it a class of gallery. This div will act as a container for the gallery images. Inside the gallery element, create. Okay, thank you. I'm just looking, and I'll have to do lots of copy and pasting. Right. So first of all, below your .header element, create a new div element. So
where's your header element? There it is. Yeah. So below the header element.
Right. Below everything. Right. So there we are. And then we have div.
Yep.
And then class equals gallery. And then we will close off. We'll do this div.
Yep.
And then within this here, let me just tab this out and do this. And then we'll do image. And then image.
Yep, and images are self-closing tags.
Right, okay. So. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that should be it.
Yeah.
Right. It is happy.
Okay.
I'm happy. Right. Hold on a second. Just gonna have a quick drink. Right. So next, give each image a source attribute according to its order in the document. So the first image should have a source of that text. So the rest should be the same except replace the one with the number the images in the document. Right. So essentially what we need to do is we need to have 9 of these, but it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instead of this.
Yeah.
So since the image is self-closing, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Was it href? Wait, not href. What am I doing? href.
No, not for image. Just something else.
It's source. That's
correct. Yes.
Equals. Yes. Now, I know what they're trying to get me to do, and I'm not going to do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, okay? Because at the end of the day, I have a lot of, I don't really, oh my God, it's getting me to do that. You know, sometimes when you try and save some time, and then it just does like all of this stuff. Jesus. Isn't there a command where you can just like
Control Shift will go back. Control Shift.
What do you mean? Control Shift.
So if you put your cursor where in the line, like in the one that's indented.
You mean Tab Shift?
Did I say Shift Tab?
Control Shift.
Shift Tab. Yes.
Shift Tab.
Sorry. Yes. Is that what you were asking?
Yes and no. Basically, I knew that one, but I was like, you know, when you copy it, is there a way to? I know you can do this in Visual Studio Code. I don't know how advanced this editor is. I'm just wondering if you like select a bunch of lines and then like, is there like a multi-paste line option?
I don't know if there's one in this editor. I know that IntelliJ has Control D to duplicate a line. You could try that here. I don't know if it will do it or not.
Well, hold on. So Control C here.
Control C, Control V, copy and paste.
Oh yeah, Control V, yeah. But like, did you say Control D?
Yeah, you have to be on the line. Be on the line, and Control D will copy the line that you're on. But I don't know. Did that do it?
Well, I don't know. Hold on a second. Let me just copy this PH, right? So right now what I should see is PH, right? So then if I'm on this line, Control D, and then no.
No, it didn't. I don't think that works.
Well, what editor does that do it in?
Control D will copy the line that you're on, and IntelliJ in different editors might be different.
Okay. I wonder if it's going to be in Visual Studio Code. Let me just have a look.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just.
No, you're fine. You have the curious mind of an engineer. That is good.
New text file. So we will go onto. So if I had this, and then I had text, and I had another TE. So if I did. So if I was like here and I did Control D, and then I do here, that's
actually you don't have to copy it and paste it. You just do Control D on the line that you're on, and it will copy. It will duplicate the line that you're on. You don't have to paste it or anything. Not
in the Visual Studio Code.
I don't know what code is.
Yeah, I'm using Visual Studio Code. So this is like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, what Control D does is it selects the entire line. So I still have to do Control C, but that is very useful to know for me because now I can just do Control D whenever I need to copy and paste. So learn a few things. Right. Okay. Back to where we were.
Okay.
So this should work. Let me get rid of this PH. And how many lines have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So, yes.
You have to change. I
need to change my numbers. Yes, so 2, 3, 4, yay.
There they are.
5. Lots of cat pictures.
There you go. Cute cats.
And we are happy. We will go into the next one. So normalize your box model by creating a star selector and setting the box sizing to be border box sizing to be wait, what am I doing? By creating star selector. Star and then yeah, I guess so. And then border box sizing. Like, this is the other thing. As I'm reading this, I didn't even realize I was in styles of CSS. But as soon as I saw box size and property, I straight away wrote it like this.
Yeah.
You know, that's like automatic as well. Like, so property ends with a, I guess, colon, right? Well, in here, do you have a thing called property?
You have attributes.
You have an attribute, but it's
Right.
not property,
No.
right?
Right.
Okay.
Good. So you're automatically translating that in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to say that when I said Control D for copying, it's actually Command D. I have a Mac for where I work, and I get confused between the Command and Control.
Well,
on Macs, it's Command. So I don't want
yeah.
to confuse anybody out there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I use my Mac for work as well. I've got yeah, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter whether you use a Mac or Windows.
Yeah, once you get used
Linux.
to it. But before, when I had to use, it was like a major speed bump because everything's kind of opposite. But once you get it in your hands, it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I do like I love the touchpad functionality on my Mac. Like, especially if you have dual screen, what you can do is you just maximize one window here, and then like from one window, swipe left and right. But you can also maximize the other one over there. So, and as you move your cursor, you can swap between two screens over here and two screens over here very quickly. With Windows, I find that kind of functionality to be difficult. I'm sure there are some programs which do that, but it's not native. So.
No, right. Yeah, true. Good point.
Okay, so your images are too big. So what we need to do is create a .gallery image selector. Like that? That's a bit weird.
You're basically saying all the image elements within the gallery class.
I see. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna do that, and the max width of. Okay, so this way we can scroll and it's not too big. And then also set the height to be 300 pixels. As you notice, I've gotten into the rhythm of putting semicolon now.
Yes, I'm seeing that. Yeah.
So remove the margin from your body element, set the font family to sans serif, and give it a background color of the hex color as a value. So remove the margin from your body element. So wait, how do?
So to remove something, here you can set it to. You can set it to 0. Set margin 0 here. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, still not. Oh, right. I need to do body first, then do that, Then I need to do margin to be 0. Then I need to set the font family to be sans. Oh yeah, the game.
Yeah, good
we
job.
just talked about that, but that's like that's.
I was
it's
waiting on that. I
better.
bet you he goes and fixes it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our font family will be and background color will be. Let's see. So hashtag F5, F6. Right. Do that. Should be it. Yep, we are happy. Right. Align your header text in the center. Make the text uppercase using text transform property with the uppercase as a value. So align your the reason I got confused because header and head. That's why I was like, wait a minute. But we set that as a class, so the head is not really an actual attribute, is it? So not an actual. So what are those elements that you call head H1?
Those are tags. Or
tags,
they're also
that's
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the header is not a tag, is it?
This one, no, it's class.
You can't make. Well,
you do have it. It is a tag, but you also labeled it with the class. If you click over to your index.html and you find your header element, you gave it a class of header.
Yeah.
So you could style it.
What I'm trying to say is you can have a class and a tag at the same time. So can I have a head element with also a class of. So if I had something else as a class of head, I don't know why you would want to do that. But say, for example, this is just me playing about here. But class equals head. Yeah, because essentially that dot will resemble the class, right? But it won't resemble the.
I think what you're asking is like if you said body class equals header. If you said class equals header there, the reason why you have classes is so that when you have your styles, you have a collection of styles, you can apply it to more than one tag, more than one thing on your page. Is that what you're getting at?
What I'm trying to say is that a tag and a class are different. So essentially, you can have a class of head, but it may not be at the head location. Which is probably the wrong way of thinking, but I'm just using that as an example.
Your co-developers would be very upset with you if you did stuff like that. It's like you're lying to them. Don't lie to your future developer or your future self even.
Hey, that's a good what's a prank you could do with somebody. But yeah, anyway. So we need the text transform to be uppercase. That? Oh yeah, it has. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's like Shift F3 in Word. I remember like the amount of times I was like, I written something and I need to change the caps of it, and it took me a while to figure that out. Give it a padding of 32 pixel on all sides, so that should be fine. It doesn't like it because I haven't done this. And then set the background color, set the background to be. Wait, that's interesting. Yeah, they get to make you think now, I guess. Although you could go away with background as well, because that's a shorthand, right?
Background color is the name of the property.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you should be able to get away with this as well.
If it's a shorthand, like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Probably because it'll infer that that's the color.
Yeah, because right now that's. But what I'm saying is here is the color.
Yes. Yeah.
But This is kind of the same thing. I'll set the color, but yeah, I think it's the rules that will be accepting both. And the text, so font color. I see you already say no, but let me try and figure this out. Let me remember what it says. It's
this one is kind of off. Is always so weird to me. I was like, okay, I just have to remember this one. It's kind of intuitive, but it's kind of not.
Yeah.
It's not font anything. It's not font. Yep. But you were close before.
Text color?
No.
Oh, what was that?
It's just, yep, just color. See, it's just like, it's kind of intuitive, but it's kind of not. You think you want to do text on, well, what's got the color here?
Yeah.
I think that's one of them from the very beginning, and they don't want to change it or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably like when they were like started to develop it, and you had the website boom, and they were like, "Oh, it's too late to change everything now." So
yeah.
Cool. So we now have a that doesn't look right, but I'm guessing we'll fix that. So your header selector should have it. Oh, it's just sometimes.
Oh, that first align your header text in the center.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That's what I get for skipping a few things. So we need to do text dash align and then center.
Good. Yep.
Right. So step 11. Flexbox is a one-dimensional CSS layout that can control the way items are spaced out and aligned within a container. To use it, give it an element of display property of flex. This will make the element of a flex container. Any direct children of a flex container are called flex items. So they need a 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐸 selector. And then, wait. And then what? They give an element.
Display Felix like the cat. No.
Let's see. So Flexbox has a main and cross axis. The main axis is defined by the flex direction property, which has 4 possible values. Row default horizontal axis with flex items from left to right, row reverse, right to left, column vertical top to bottom, column reverse, bottom to top. So axes and directions will be different depending on the text direction. The values shown are for left to right text direction. Try the different values to see how they affect the layout. When you are done, set an explicit flex direction of row on the gallery element. So essentially, they are asking me to have a play around. So let's just do that.
They actually the name. Yep. There you go.
And then, well, let's try bottom up because they want us to finish on row. So. Hello. Why can't I see a difference?
Column reverse. Do row reverse because we're on.
I misspelled column.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Right. Okay. Cool. So they have that here. So if I just did column and without reverse, yeah. Okay. That's just pretty cool. And then if I did row, I reverse that. So I guess like going right, it will have a scroll bar, but it doesn't for some reason. And then I guess row will have a different one. What if you did row column? Could you do that? No, I don't think so. Fine. Great.
Was worth seeing.
Yeah. So the flex wrap property determines how your flex items behave when the flex container is too small. Setting it to wrap will allow the items to wrap to the next row or column. No wrap is the default, which will prevent your items from wrapping and shrinking if needed. So make it so your flex items wrap to the next row when they run out of space. So essentially what we need to do is we need to add flex wrap property, and by default it's this, no wrap, right? But we want wrap. So yeah, so now we would see, because it can't really wrap.
And if you were to make your viewport a little larger by dragging that, if they can let, there you go. So it's wrapping according to how much space it has at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So we can go into the next one. So the justify content property determines how the items inside a flex container are positioned along the main axis, affecting their position and space around them. Give your gallery selector a justify content property with the center as a value. So we need to give it justify content, and then we will give it center as a value. So okay, so that's where it's gonna actually so yeah, but I guess it has left, right. Okay, cool. So justify content, does that mean that basically that affects any like image, what attribute values does it affect?
Basically, it's just taking whatever you have in there and centering it for the most part, or with justify content center. There's other things you could set it to, but
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, because I know you have the property text align. Does the justify content also centers text or no?
It does. Text align does something similar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Just so justify content is like a overall kind of box kind of.
Keep in mind too that
is for text.
An important thing to remember with your flex is that you have a main axis and then you have a cross axis. So if you have specified flex direction is row, that's your main axis. So your cross axis is going to be the other one, and justify content works on your main axis, and they're going to talk about that in just a minute here. So
okay,
yeah.
Where did we go wrong? So an align it. Oh, oops. To vertically center your images, give your gallery an align items property with the center.
Okay, up here it says align items property.
Oh yes, sorry.
On the cross axis. So.
Okay, we were still talking about the justify content, and I went to the next one, and I didn't realize we did go into the next one. So yeah, so we need to align items as well. Okay, so give your gallery selector a pattern property set to 20 pixel, 10 pixel to create some space around the container. Then give it a max width of 1400 pixels and add a margin of 0 to the center. So first of all, we need a pattern property. So some space. Then we need to give a max width. And add a margin. So cool. So that's done. And we'll go to the next one. So notice how some of your images have become distorted. This is because the images have different aspect ratios. So yeah, this one is definitely
Yeah, and the
distorted.
next one is really distorted too after that. That one. Yeah.
So notice how some of your images have become distorted. This is because the images have different aspect ratios. Rather than setting each aspect ratio individually, you can use the object fit property to determine how images should behave. So give your gallery image selector the object fit property and set it to cover. What does cover mean? This will tell the image to fill the image container while maintaining aspect ratio, resulting in cropping to fit. That's great because that's essentially what we, yeah, so.
Yep, it's exactly what we want.
Perfect. Right. So step 18. So your images need some more space between them. The gaps CSS shorthand property sets the gaps, also known as gutters, between rows and columns. The gap property in this row gap and column gap subproperties provide this functionality for flex grid and multi-column layout. You apply the property to the container element. Give your gallery flex container a gap property of with 16 pixels as the value. So gap property 16 pixel.
In case we didn't catch it, that is a shorthand for you could separate that out into row gap, meaning that between the rows, or column gap, like between the columns. So if you want both, you can use that shorthand, right? Just like that, right?
Okay.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
smooth out your images a bit by giving the gallery image selector a border radius property with 10 pixel as set as the value. So they want me to give a border radius of 10 pixel.
So now we get nice little rounded edges around the pictures. Awesome. Like it.
Oh yeah, like here. Okay, that's cool. So the after pseudo element creates an element that is the last child of the selected element. We can use it to add an empty element after the last image. If we give it the same width as the images, it will push the last images to the left when the gallery is in a two-column layout. Right now it's in the center because we set justify content center on the flex container. Create a new selector using an after pseudo element on the gallery element. Add a content property set to empty string and 350 pixels set for the width property. That's a lot to take in. Okay.
Let me just have you do something here real quick. So drag over make your viewport bigger again, and then scroll down to the bottom. So you see how this last picture is in the middle. It's in the center. So what they're telling you to do is you're going to create a fake other image, basically, and we're going to select it with the after. We're going to give it some properties, and then we're going to tell it. And once that's in there, that's basically going to look like we're pushing this one over to the left. So that the fake one is going to be on the right, and our real one here is going to be pushed over to the left. And that's kind of what we're doing here using this container after.
But that the container after, essentially, when you apply it, that's how it's meant to be. What if you add another image? Does that mean you have to remove the after?
No, it selects the last one. So if we added another image, there would be another last one that would have nothing in the content and a width of that amount.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
You could actually go and add one and see what happens.
We will. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do after first of all.
All right.
So it's using on the gallery.
Yeah, so you want to have the gallery first, gallery class first. Yep. Then you're after.
Oh, like this? Oh.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a space in between the two. I don't know if it matters if there's a space.
I thought HTML ignored the spaces.
It does. Generally. We could try it to see if it affects it, actually. I'd be interested to see if it affects it.
Right, so we've done that. Add the content property. And
just a semicolon after that. That is the value for the content property, is that empty string.
So this is probably gonna be right, but let's just have a look to see what's happened. Oh, it's not right because it's not. Yeah, you're right. So you do need
no space. I didn't know for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we have this. So in our index.html, let's add in another 9. And let's see what happens here. Right, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So essentially, if you use after, it's like it will create it only if it's like, let's just change the value to be like 5, for example. I don't think it matters, but yeah, like it doesn't like, you don't go down anymore for like another box or anything like that, another fake box, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You just have like, you have this and this, so that's
just
how
works.
you can. Yeah, it just works, which is great. So. Yeah. Right, let's see if it, after all the changes are made, whether it's gonna like it. Okay, great. It's only TDD for that specific element, not for
the whole thing.
changing
Yeah.
here. Okay, so the alt image attributes should describe the image content. Screen readers announce alternative text in place of images. If the image can't be loaded, this text is presented in place of the image. To complete the project, add an alt attribute to all 9 of your use a value at least 5 characters long for each. Okay, so we now have to describe our cats. Alt goes. Wait, oh yeah, wrong place. What do we say? Brown or white?
Cat photo 1, cat photo 2.
Very creative. Okay. I was gonna say we kind of like say what the colors is or what they are.
Oh, you could.
Oh well. Sometimes it's just easier to type the damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. And, all right. Yay, we are happy.
That's the last one on this one.
That's the last one. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this one's a little bit more longer, right? So we'll probably leave that until like next week. But yeah. We managed to do 2. So yeah.
Good job.
Thanks for joining, and yeah, if you guys are catching on later on, then yeah, just if there's any questions, just post up a comment and we'll get back to you regarding that. Yeah. Okay, Connie, thanks for the stream, and I will end the broadcast here.
Okay, see ya.